This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society BC, brought to you by Sitka Gear. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. This episode of Talk is Sheep is brought to you by Wild TV. Choose your adventure with Wild TV and Wild TV Plus. Watch on cable and satellite or stream anywhere the hunt takes you. Thank you to Wild TV for being a conservation partner of the Wild Sheep Society BC. Well, we're back in the studio, and the studio looks a little different. Well, it's fucking cool. We are in Alberta, Red Deer, at Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta. What do they call it? Bighorn
Banquet.
Bighorn Banquet.
Yes, sir.
And we are in the Bighorn. We're at the Expo Hall here, and it's called the Bighorn. They do such great branding, I can't even keep up. But anyway, it's cool to be here supporting Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta with Tanner Dannish. I called you Master Bladesmith on Saturday night, and you rebuked me for that. So Bladesmith, CEO of Frontiersmen Gear, and great to have you back on the podcast.
No, it's awesome to see you, and it's a fun, different setting here, so it's a great time.
Man, it's a great setting. So for anyone that's not been to any of the shows, first of all, I pity you guys because these booths and what you put in, and there's so many others. Like you go around to, it's the Canadian innovation, right? Like you go down to Sheep Show, and they've got like in Reno, and they've got like the latest and greatest, and the booths are like people spend a ton of money on them, but like they're made probably in China, and they like, you know what I mean? And it's like your stuff, I guarantee there's no made in China stuff. This looks like you've stuff that you guys have carved out on your own, and it's rustic, it's cool, it's hip, and a good vibe. And we look across the way, and custom pack rigging, Tyson set up there, and just a cool vibe. Mike Drury, like Mike's booth is
awesome,
freaking amazing. The way, like his engineering, he's got that on display, and it's reflective of your guys' brands, and you do it better than anyone else, man. So congrats.
Really appreciate it. It is so fun, and it's I value the people that come to the show so much. You don't have to come to any of the trade shows, regardless of what it is. So we're indebted to you to give you a good time, and that's my biggest thing. Is I want to put a show on. I want to give you guys some value for coming here, and then of course we want to sell our stuff. And this is us, right? This is BC. This is Frontiersmen. So I mean, we got to show it off.
That's awesome, dude. Well, and you've had quite a run. Like you've had like just nonstop like show season. Talk about kind of your run of the mill, like what you've been through. You've been everywhere this year.
So we started it actually mid-December, came out this way to APOS, Alberta Professional Outfitting Society. Then we did the Northern, we did the Southern, which are both incredible shows. That Southern Penticton show is just outstanding, obviously. And we got to host the RAM Awards this year, which was awesome. Can't thank you guys enough for that. And then now we're here in Alberta, which is, again, a huge, great show. It's for the size, I bet it would be, I bet it's the biggest in Alberta. I don't know if that Edmonton Boat Show is bigger. I doubt it, though. This is such a cool crowd here. It's same dedicated hunters, everything else. Then we're rolling over to GOABC, Guide Outfitters, in 2 weeks down in Kelowna. And then about a month after that, we've got the Big Game Records down in Kamloops. So it's an awesome run. I love the show season's tiring.
Yeah.
It starts to get on a person, but it is when you get to shake hands with people and hear people's stories, and people that follow us online have only ever seen our product online or meet us for the first time. It doesn't matter. It really just lights a fuel. When we go back to the shop, everyone's ripping ready to go. Everyone has ideas. Everyone wants to do so much. It's when we get this, like, this fuels us. So I can't thank you guys enough. Can't thank WSFA enough. If I just went and set a booth up downtown and Canadian Tire parking lot, it would not do the same thing, right? So it's because of you guys. It's really awesome.
The thing I think lots about is like your approach to your business model, and like you're clearly invested for the long term. And I think what you're doing is you're building trust with your customer base, right? Like there's so much shit online now. You look at stuff and you don't know what's right or what's wrong, especially now with AI, and you're just like, but when you come to the show and you shake your hand and you have a conversation and you look at your products and you touch your products, like people connect, right? And they might not buy that knife or they might not buy that game bag that day, but when they go to buy one, they're going to come and buy it from you because of that. You've built that relationship with that person now too. So like kudos to you, because I think that, for a young guy that's, already built an incredible business. I just can't imagine what it's going to look like 20 years from now or 10 years from now. It's like, yeah, it's phenomenal, man. So
I'm so excited about it. And I'm grateful and so excited because our entire crew is of the same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got guys that, come to the shows, and, when we first started doing shows, nobody once asked to be paid.
Mm.
And it's just that mentality around it where it's you're in for the greater good. We're in here for a reason, for a long term in it. And then we have people that just, like our entire crew, it's creative people. When I'm gone, the creativity doesn't stop.
Right.
Like there's a reason my name's not on the company. It's a larger thing that I hope in that 15, 20 years we can have, 15, 20 people running and doing the same thing and pushing in every avenue of Canadian-made goods. Not just knives, not just leatherworks, but our textiles and everything else, and who knows what direction we go with it. And it's all just the ethos thing for me, where it's Canada first, Canada for us, and it's just the idea of being a good person, supplying ethos, giving back to conservation, building the best product you can. Like, it all just falls in the same stuff for us.
So there's two parts I want to talk about there. I want to talk about the Made in Canada ethos, but before we do that, I want to talk about your recent partnership acquisition of Stone Point Outfitters, and now it's Frontiersmen Textiles. Talk a little bit about that and what's new and sort of what that looks like for the future of the organization.
So when Cody started Stone Point Outdoor Gear, he just wanted to make the same idea as what we have, which is Canadian sourced and Canadian sewn textiles to offer, that to show that it can be done all within our province, to offer it at a price point that isn't with a 500% markup like the stuff that's coming from overseas, and more than anything, a super, super durable product. So Cody was doing that, was doing amazing. He's a very busy, very successful person outside of that side. This was nothing but passion for him. And he approached us almost at the same time that we were coming together with him, and to say, because he had started building game bag sets for us, and they sold out like crazy. And it was like, well, we can do this better together at the end of the day. So as much as I want to say it was a purchase or an acquisition, it was just I want to see it as more of a joint process where he came on board, and we're still figuring out how that's all going to look in the future, whether it all moves to Prince George at some point or whatever else. But more than anything, it was just the same idea, where it's the same kind of person as us, the same kind of ethos with the same kind of product, where it's customer first, not profits first. You're building for a purpose, not a profit. And that was the biggest thing for us. So when that happened, absolutely came on board. FG's Textiles, so it's all being sewn down in trail right now. We source everything within Canada, which is the coolest thing. So we can work directly with our manufacturer on the textile side to change weights of our air weave nylon that's on our bags. We can say, it's too light, we're going to make bigger bag or a heavier bag. Our wax canvas, we can go heavier with it. Dyneema that we're working with now, we can fully adjust everything to be exactly what we want, and then with it being sewn in trail in trail by hand in house, the Cody can make adjustments. We can change designs on the fly or change whatever we want to do, and it's how cool does it get? Like, that is, and that's Frontiersmen again. It goes back to the same idea. So,
well, and you look down south, for example, and you look at some of these, like Stone Glacier, for example, Expo, Mountain Gear, their packs and stuff like that. And there's many others, but those two come to mind. Like, innovation is what built them, right? And like, you having the ability to do that. Obviously, you can innovate on the knife side of things and the metalwork, and then of course you've innovated the hell out of the leather stuff, and now the textiles, and it's just super cool. And that innovation is, like, I think that really sets brands apart. Like, you look at, like, to me, Stone Glacier does stand out from a lot of the other manufacturers, or Expo, because they innovated, they built something in-house, they had a vision what they wanted to create, and you guys are visionaries, you're doing that. So it's super cool. Now, on that note, talk a little bit about, I remember an early conversation, you called me up, and I didn't really know who you were. You just reached out and you said, hey, I'm a knife maker, and I really want to support you guys. And, like, shame on me, I'm just not, like, really attuned to what's going on in the community. And you had a vision of supporting us, and so, like, and that wasn't that long ago. Like, I see what you've built, like, in this period of time, and it's phenomenal, the growth and the leadership and the innovation and the commitment to excellence. So when you started out, you obviously had a vision of what you wanted to do. Did you have a vision that you would have, like, multiple product lines? Would you have the textiles? Would you have the leather work? Or was it like, no, we're going to grow and we're going to do a good job on the knife side of things? Or do you have a vision of something much bigger than that?
The original idea for FG actually was before I even started making knives or learning to make knives. I got out of the forces and I wanted to do something within the outdoor industry, didn't know what I wanted to do. And at that time, there wasn't a lot going. We ended up down in Kamloops, and there wasn't a lot going on down there, at least in the outdoor side for outdoor shops. And FG was going to be an outdoor store, was what it was. I wanted to source the best materials and bring it into house, and almost what actually the guys at Fargon are doing now, right, where it's just finding the best stuff and bringing it all into one source. So then the process started. I got the name, I purchased all that, purchased the website and everything, and it wasn't, and then it was like, I don't know, like I would like to say weeks. It was very close, so when all of a sudden now I start making knives and you're just naturally working down that path and the ball starts rolling, and then we're making knives and, well, I've already got this business name made, and I already had a logo at that time. And okay, well, it all works with that. It's all this same frontiersy, outdoor, the same ethos, the same everything. Nothing had to change. And then I realized, when I started the business making just custom knives, and then you quickly realize where it's, well, we're not limited to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the logo's knife. Okay. But I mean, it's...
But there's a backpack on your shirt right now.
There is. Yeah. And this was the first logo.
Right.
Was the backpack logo.
Right on.
And the guy that made our logo actually said, hey, we need something simpler. That's a little too complicated. Right. But it's the same idea, right? And then... And it's been incredible because you never, in my opinion, if you try and force something in a direction, it's very hard to go in that direction.
Right.
When you let something naturally happen, you put yourself in the right position, meet the right people, you can't make that line or the spider web on how you're going to reach that position. And I've realized that throughout doing all of this, but just even the connections I've made in the last 6 years, let's say. And it's the number one thing I tell other people now, because now it's weird. I feel like I'm the wrong person, but people ask how, maybe they're starting or want to go full time, and you don't know how it's going to go, but as long as you're doing what you feels right, you also need to start seeing all these connections. And it's not until I can look back now and see everything where I can see, okay, well, it started with the gear company. Then, okay, well, now I'm making knives. Okay, well, it perfectly lines into that. And then we moved to Prince George, and then I meet Lewis, and Lewis is doing leather work. Okay, so then I start contracting Lewis to make some side leather stuff. And then all of a sudden now he's full-time doing leather stuff. And then we're building a shop. And then the property came up, and then we bought that property, 3 acres. It came up for sale outside of Prince George, just happened to be looking, and it came up like an hour prior to us looking. Well, what's the chances of that? And all of a sudden we purchased this property, and then all of a sudden we're building this shop, and Lewis is there, and Lewis is construction superintendent. So he knows, he's got contacts and everything. All of a sudden we're building by ourselves, and it's all working in the right direction. And then we built the shop, and then Lewis is on board, and then Jordan's a great example there. I've been following his photo work for a long time. He just reached up out of nowhere, and I had a recurve bow for sale. He says, hey, I want to buy this recurve bow and whatever. And he's like, I don't have that amount of cash, but I'm going to the Yukon, and I can sell you some photos. Perfect. So I bought some photos for under FG. That was our first photo package that we purchased. Next thing you know, and then last year, Jordan goes, oh, well, I'm moving to Prince George for the winter. You're looking for some work. So all of a sudden Jordan comes on board. Now he's our full-time on-salary media guy, and he's doing all that. And now he's just follows us along, taking photos of hunts. And it's the same idea where it's just you're moving in that direction. As long as you're doing what feels right and you're surrounding yourself with those kind of people, it's impossible to be like, okay, I need to do this, then that's going to get me here, then that's going to get me here. Yeah. But if you let it just happen and you look back after, you're like, it all connected perfectly. Right. Everything happened when it needed to happen. Even though, like, the stress and is this going to work, or maybe this isn't the right idea, and then you look at your bank account and you're like, oh, okay, this definitely isn't the right idea, and then you make it work and you just move on to the next thing, and so I can only imagine 20 years you look back on and you go, and for people that have built successful businesses, like multi-million-dollar massive production shops, all this other stuff, like I think of Marsupial Gear guys down in Arizona doing it, they've got over 100 employees. Yeah. Massive production facility and everything. You talk to Jim, and it's the same idea. He's like, sometimes I don't know how we got here. Yeah. But you look at it, and it's actually a perfect line on how you got there.
Right.
So that's the biggest side is with letting that happen. It's incredible. And not to side rail this, but it goes to even I mentioned this quickly to you, but about the Ram Awards you guys let us host this year. So it all started with I met Malcolm. I was working for a fencing company down in Kamloops at the time. I was making knives on the side. We fenced the little piece for Malcolm, and then anyways, he heard that I was making knives on the side. He bought 5 knives for his friends, make him these knives, and then all of a sudden he's texting me, and I remember getting that text, and I told you about this, but he sent me a text and goes, hey, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Wild Sheep Society of BC, but if you're willing to donate a knife or maybe do something with them, here's the guy's number. It's Kyle Stelter and your number on it. And that text message started everything. Then it goes full circle. It comes back to the Ram Awards, I don't know, 5 years later, and I'm able to give Malcolm that award that has his name on it.
Amazing.
And you're like, how? You could never have put this all together.
No.
But you look at the spider web, and it's like, it's all full circle. Yeah. It's all meant to happen. And it's incredible.
It's definitely interconnected, right? Like there's no, like it's I don't, like you could say, look like it was a straight line. Like I don't feel it's not linear, but it's all interconnected, right? And it's all like it just all builds on each other, right? And to me, it's like fucking karma, man. Good people doing good things. Like, you know, like if you're a good person, you're doing a good thing. Like good things happen to good people. And like I know that's crazy oversimplification when you're like, Kyle, fuck off. I literally work 120 hours a week. Like it doesn't work like that. Like yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's inspiring. It's awesome, man. So many things there. Like honestly, I had a vision of 1 hour podcast. This is going to be 7 hours, of course not. But so let's talk a little bit about so we did a Made in Canada panel. So Adam Yonke at Through Our Sheep Hunting University hosted that. I didn't have the privilege of attending, so there was yourself and Mike Drury, and then was there another?
Cody was there.
Cody from Stone Point.
From Stone Point, and then Nolan from Fargon.
Right.
About
awesome.
importing into
Awesome. Canada. So talk a little bit about, you know, and we're seeing that down south too, right? Like this resurgence of other brands like Origins, for example. And I know some backpack companies tried to do that. I think they struggled big time, but I don't really know to what extent. But certainly you are like that. You are absolutely adamant about it, and one of the things I respect about you, and even to the point where we single Canada at all our events now because of you, and it's phenomenal. I hate to say it, but it's true. We just was never really on the radar, and it was like, no, hell yeah, we're doing this, and it just sets the tone and feels great. But talk about the importance of Made in Canada, why you're so passionate about it, and why it's important that we support those companies.
Well, it goes back to, I think there's a lot of sides to it, whether you want to look at ethos or anything else. But at the end of the day, we're living in a very easy time where you don't like you talk to my, sorry, this is going to sidebar, but you talk to my grandfather, and when they went to war, and this isn't, I'm not trying to say anything against anybody else or anything, but when they went to war, you're going to war against other countries, and you came back and understood that maybe there's other countries in this world that didn't have the best intentions for Canada. Now you fast forward that 80 years, and it's the classic, easy times make soft men, and then you correspond that I'm not saying that we need to be racist and do crazy stuff. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when you put this country first and have your neighbors in mind first and everything else, it's to a benefit of not just security, but your own economy and everything else. So for us, when we look at it, I want to know that A, I'm paying locals a good wage. B, I'm supporting other people inside of maybe not even my same industry, but within our economy. You're giving your neighbors jobs. We talked about on that panel, this is a perfect example. So in Canada, we used to have leather tanneries. There was factories all across Western Canada into Ontario. We have 0 right now that are handling, cow leather for us to build belts and stuff out of. I ended up talking to a guy that used to run one of them, and he said that they lost it only because the demand dropped away. And when you look at all that stuff, it's just due to demand, and then us pushing a little bit cheaper by going overseas, and the greed to make an extra 20% or an extra 30%, so then you process overseas. Well, if everybody does that, then that factory shuts down. And if that factory shuts down, then all these people lose their job. And it's a compounding effect of which we've lost over the last 15 years we've watched, where it's been that spiraling circle in the wrong direction, where because, and this is my truth of it, it's because of greed. Companies like myself I could easily go to Temu or Alibaba and pick up some replaceable blade knives and laser my logo onto it and mark it up 300%. And great, I would be making a lot more money than I am. But as soon as you start doing that and chasing that greed, then you fall down that path of you're not supporting this person, which is not supporting that person. That's just how the economy works. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the biggest things for us. B, then you get into when you look at Canadian-made goods and you're looking at when you're dealing with your neighbor, if you're buying a product from them, if they build a shitty product and it fails, he has to look at you again. Mm-hmm. So there's the side of that where you make the best product possible because I'm going to see you at the show. Mm-hmm. And I know that you're going to, if something failed or broke, I'm going to have to deal with you at the end of the day. Outside of the whole moral side, you know, when you're dealing with your neighbor, you're not going to screw your neighbor over.
Yeah.
So then there's that whole side also. When you're working with people within Canada, everyone wants the best for each other. And everyone's doing the best and wants to build the best. And you get into the Canadian innovation side. We've got incredibly smart people up here that are looking for the best, always trying to change a product, and just doing really incredible stuff. So that's honestly, when we break it down and look at that side, and it goes as far as like our textiles now, trying to keep everything within Canada. I don't want your meat failing. I don't want your bag failing that has your meat in it that's you've worked really hard for, and then it fails. Well, that's horrible. Mm-hmm. Just because you saved $80 or $60 or whatever it is on a set of game bags, and you trusted some country of people that don't even know what that bag is being used for. They don't understand that meat's getting put in or how meat goes in or whatever it is. I heard a crazy story at the Penticton show there last weekend. Guy that bought some game bags. They're produced over in China. Anyways, he put his goat hide into it. Was lucky enough, killed a beautiful mountain goat. Put his goat hide into it. Got back to the truck. Pulled the hide out of it. His hide was all stained orange. That orange color from that bag bled down into it. So now you're looking at and sitting there talking to him like, well, what do you think the meat did? And he's sitting there. He's pretty quiet, and I'm like, God, I just ruined this guy's meat. But it's the same idea, right? Yeah. And so it's. I can just go on and on about Canadian quality, and we make the best, and we do it by hand. But it truly goes back to so much stuff with myself, which is like the ethos and morality of what you're doing. And by keeping it within Canada, there's a moral side to it that is important. And I think companies, when they value that, and they value the side of, outside of just immediate monetary gains of Temu, Alibaba, and what you can resell it for, then it goes... you quickly realize how important it is to keep stuff within Canada.
Well, you look at it too. If I look at optics, for example, like I think like on a international scale, right? There are products made in China, but like the premium optics company are building stuff in Europe in their factories. They're 100, 200-year-old companies. The Leicas, and I'm going to stop there. I know Leica for sure has their factory sitting in Europe, and and people will buy those. They want those products. They want the good quality, and people are willing to pay once and cry once. Like, yeah, it hurts, but then it's going to last you for eternity. You'll never have to replace that scope ever. Yeah. Like, it's going to last you forever. Or you can buy a piece of shit from China and have to replace it in 2 years. And yeah, it was a quarter of the price or a third of the price, but in the end, you're paying more anyway. Yeah. So it hurts, and I learned that early on. I was like, buy the best thing that you can afford, right? Like, and it's going to hurt. But it's like, yeah, I bought that Swaro. The interesting thing is I bought this Swaro almost 20 years ago, and I bought it with a buddy, and I was buying them out and I called up Omer. I'm like, what's this thing worth? It's basically worth what we paid for it. Yeah. Like, of course, like now scopes are double the price, but like I think we paid $3,000, and he said it's probably worth $2,700. I'm like, fuck, like
it's crazy,
right? Like, but if I bought one from China, I guarantee you it would not be worth that. What I paid for it, right? So interesting aside. So where do you see this going? Like, we see this resurgent, and I love it because it's in our community. We've got the Mike Drury's, we've got the Frontiersmen Gear, and others that are innovating, and they're building in-house, building in Canada. Is there room for more growth on that side? Do you think there's going to be more of that? And it is a fucked up world right now with what's going on with the tariffs and like not singling any countries out, but just like it's a tumultuous time, and like you see carnies signing these trade deals all over the world.
Yeah.
Do you see a resurgence in that in Canada? Do you see more of this? Like, are you trailblazing, or it's just like whatever? Some people are going to do it, some people aren't. Like,
well, I think, I hope that we're trailblazing, and I think it. My thing is, it goes back to the, if not you, then who?
right.
And it needs to start somewhere. I'm not saying I'm the only person doing it. I didn't start the only person making made in Canada stuff. But if I can be very vocal about it and bring other parties into that same understanding and sticking to that, like loyally and just brutally owning that, then what we'll see happen is we'll create a closed circuit economy within Canada.
Right.
Because then all it takes is that and the pressure, and somebody at some point will take the risk and reopen a leather tanning factory, one of those same ones. Maybe it was that guy I talked to, maybe it's someone new. And then if that opens back up, then our leather costs come down. Our leather costs will drastically go down. And then he's buying byproduct from the meat factories, which then helps our cattle industry, people like your father, right?
Yeah.
And so then that serves that. That's coming down. The factory's doing better. The meat processing's doing better. Now there's a tannery. Well, then people see that tannery's doing good, so then they open another factory up in another tannery, and it creates the competition on that end. Then it creates more leather products coming in for us, not just amount of goods, but then also cost on it. And then by bringing the cost down, then other people can start doing the business, because then it's a lower barrier to entry. So then, Joe Blow down the street can maybe start a belt company, and he's doing belts on the side or whatever it is. And we need that, because then by him doing that, then we have competition. Competition is what drives innovation, and we will build a better product. And it's a stage of it. Like, people talk about this too, where it's like a great example at our show. Don and I are great friends. Don Stevens and I. We're building the same product in different areas.
Right.
And there's more than enough pie for everybody. And you need everybody at every stage. Because if I was the only person in BC making custom knives, there's nothing to go off of for quality, for price, for anything. So then maybe I put my price at $1,000 for a custom knife. You might have 90 people walk through and go, that's crazy, that's way too expensive. But maybe I put it at $1,000 and somebody comes in and makes a knife at, $500, and they go, okay, well, that one's $500, this one's $1,000. They can choose whatever they want, but okay, I like the $1,000 one. Now it's justified, because then you have a ladder of scale of different skill sets and different people that are doing different things. And you need that. We need more knife makers coming into it. We need more handmade custom knife makers to come in and do it, because then that just bumps the whole scale on it. And we need it on the leather side. We need it on everything. So then you get into this closed circuit economy where the people that start will have to weather the storm, but at the end of the day, it does nothing but drives innovation, drives better pricing for everybody, more affordable pricing on one end, and then more profitable pricing for people that were in at the beginning. And it serves everybody.
Right.
It is the idea of an economic country that's closed circuit, which is us. And Canada can be that. We have every resource in Canada.
Yeah,
we have everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at it that side, I don't know. Maybe it'll take a long time. And maybe it takes 15 years that we have to weather the storm. But I am dead set, and our guys are the same thing. We will scream this shit from the top of our lungs until I can't talk anymore. And that's fine by me. Great Ram Awards. So when we were looking at getting buckles for those guys, we got our buckles, and I'll state this. We got some company buckles a few years ago, and we went through an outfit in Mexico. I got them, and I felt dirty when I got those things. Yes, they were cheap, and yes, they're pretty decent. They were like, I think $180 or $200 per. When we went to do the Ram Awards thing, we got the buckles from Mexico last time. And, it's a pretty good chunk of change when you look at 6 buckles.
Yeah.
And so, well, no, we need to do this right. We preach this stuff. We need to be the ones doing it. So Canada Options, find Olsen buckles. Well, I love their buckles. I've seen them before at Jew ABC. Reach out to them. Yeah, they're double the price. 6 buckles at double the price. It's like, okay. But you know what? I can look at you and say that buckle was made in Canada, in High River, Alberta, and that belt was made in Prince George, BC. Everything that I gave those 6 people was made entirely in Canada, and that's special to me. So, it's going to take some time, but it will. I believe strongly about it.
Well, and people are noticing, right? Like, you just continue to grow, and you just the demand for your product continues to grow, and It's phenomenal. What I've just watching from the outside, like I'm just the guy watching, and it's amazing to watch. And so it's inspirational, dude. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to ask you. We've been chatting for half an hour. You got people walking through the booth. Are we okay for time? Or?
Oh yeah, we're good. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So next thing I wanted to chat about was you mentioned Ram Awards. So let's talk a little bit. We had the Salute Conservation Mountain Hunting Expo last weekend. It was so much fun and exhausting, of course. And you did a ton of heavy lifting, obviously at your booth and your sales, and the hall was fucking packed. Like it was like every time I walked over there, it was like kung fu fighting trying to get through there. It was crazy. And then on top of it, you hosted the Ram Awards and did a ton of other stuff. And talk a little bit about the inspiration for the Ram Awards and like it was our inaugural Ram Awards. And okay, I'm just going to say from my perspective, and I'm absolutely biased, you are too, but no one else is here to counteract this. It was phenomenal. The energy, the enthusiasm. We had about 150 people in that room, and just the feedback and the excitement. And I had a great evening. So let's maybe talk about your vision for this. And we've talked a little bit on the podcast before, but let's just refresh that a little bit.
Well, it's kind of two parts. It started actually with Mr. Matt McCabe. He had talked at one point with Nolan and myself. I can't remember even who, I'd love to say I was the person that came up with it, but I can't say that in confidence. I think it was actually Matt was the one that had brought it up at some point. And then Nolan and I talked about it, and saw how important it was to bring this back. And when it goes to like our storefront in Prince George, we've got an old school kill board, and the excitement people come, especially a lot of the younger crowd, but even older guys that come in there and get their picture taken and get to pin it up on the wall and sign under it. And they come back the next year and see the stuff they killed last year. They bring their buddy, and then they're getting ready to go stone sheep hunting, and then they're looking at the ram that they killed last year at the same time. So for me, it was imprinting that legacy, and and you can do it as small or as big as you want. And when you look at every other WSF branch essentially was doing some sort of celebration around some of the incredible animals that they have. And I'm sitting back going, well, sorry Alberta, sorry everybody else. BC is king. We own the mountain. Like we've got 4 species of wild sheep in our province. You get to over the counter hunt, the stone sheep, which is
stone sheep,
the pinnacle.
It's just stone
right?
sheep. That's all it is.
So I mean, we should be.
They don't have stone sheep in the Yukon or anywhere else.
Nowhere else. Not Alaska. Not the
Yukon. This is
Yukon.
for Joe Humphreys. He's going to be calling me when he listens. Sorry.
But I mean, that should be our thing.
Yes.
Why are we not celebrating? And it's not about, wow, look what I killed.
Right.
It is about celebrating those animals and celebrating the stories that come along with it. So then, okay, well, let's do the Ram Awards. We knew that. We knew you guys are so tapped on everything that it's like, look, if we're going to do this, we need to do it ourselves. We need to do it internally. We need to come with you guys and say, hey, look, we're going to handle everything. So that's, when we came to you guys with the proposition, that's what was really important to me, is that we did handle it all ourselves. Then we got down to actually making the awards, and it was really fun to be able to say, okay, and all the guys were on board, and it was incredible to say the first thing was, are we going to put any awards off a score? And everyone said, nope, not a chance. In my opinion, we saw what it was doing to the industry and what it was doing around certain mentality around stuff. And as much as it was, I'd just like to say, as much as it was, there's a lot of guys that like to chase score, and that's fine. But you see it on the outfitting side, and then you see it on the resident hunter side, to where if you put it only about score, then all of a sudden people are getting disappointed about really incredible animals because they don't meet a certain score. And it's almost sad to see when it's like a lifelong achievement that someone kills a stone sheep, and then it's 159 and 5/8.
Right.
It's not 160.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, man, you killed a stone sheep, right? Like people dream about this shit in their entire life, spend $500,000 for sheep hunts to try and kill one.
Yeah.
So, on that side, it was like, okay, we got to do it not point based. We got to do it based on other merits. And then so that's when we broke it down, did oldest, did outstanding round was a really fun one, and then brought in the youth awards. And then honestly, and then huge props to Jordan on doing the video and facilitating all of that. It was just awesome. And the Travis Bader, I have to say thank you to him, because Travis from Silver Core, he did all the VO on all that stuff, and he jumped all over that project and absolutely loved to do it. And then it comes all together, and you see the people in there and get to see the rams and all the people jumping on stage to look at the sheep, and it was everything I had envisioned for it. So it was really incredible, and I hope it continues to expand and we get to see, because I know that I would bet the majority of rams were not entered from this province, and I know of some very outstanding rams that were not entered. So I look forward to the point when it's like, if you kill a ram, you have to enter it into the Ram Awards.
Right.
And we have 500 people in that room, and it's a party, and it's a good time. It's a social night, and everyone's having a great time. And and the other thing too is that it's, and because that's exactly what happened. It was from all the finalists. I talked to every finalist that was there. I made sure to walk around and try and find them and talk to them. Every single one of them had a smile on their face, whether they won an award or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's it. That is everything, right? It's congratulations, not, oh, that should have been me.
Yeah.
And it's the same idea, and we need to do that whether it's on the Sheep Mountains or whether it's at the Ram Awards. Yeah. So that was a huge part of it for me.
That was awesome. The vibe in that room was just the energy and just the excitement. The thing that I loved about it was the youth component. So you did 2 youth awards. You did a Youth Conservation Award, and then you also did a Youth Hunter Award. So it wasn't ram specific, but they're like
we did, not to interrupt, we did a youth ram and then we did a youth hunter.
Oh, that's
and
right.
that youth hunter award is our conservation based.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that we did still stay with the ram side and highlight, a ram killed by someone under the age of 16, which was so cool. We had 3 incredible. We had a lot of incredible entries. We had 3 that were, when myself and then you guys, everyone that was on the WSS committee board that got to go through these awards, there wasn't a single one that was easy to decide on.
No, it wasn't.
And then you get to the youth side, and it was crickets. We're all going, what do we do with this?
Exactly.
Like, it's 3 incredible rounds, So that was the coolest part for me, where it's like, and then watching them come on stage and how huge that was for them. And if you're like, if this concretes wild sheep conservation efforts in their brain, why wouldn't we do this? This is the best investment I could ever make.
Well, and it's kind of the future of what we believe in, right? Like that very well, those things that are happening. And like Tanner, when I walk through our show now, like when I walk through that Penticton show, like you used to go in there and it was the old boys club, right? Like there was angry white guys that were sitting around. And I mean that in a term of endearment, but the reality was it was like it was a bit of an older demographic, and like, there was women there, but really it was arm candy. It was like the wife came because she was forced to, effectively. And I don't feel that now. I walk in our show and it's packed with men, women, and children, and like everywhere. Like I'm not talking like there's a kid there. No, it was like it's just a different vibe, and this is the quality show that I want. I want to walk in there and I want everyone to feel comfortable. I want everyone to feel welcome. Like there's such a diverse group of people in a great way, and it feels right. It feels good. It does feel like a family, and it is a family, because we're talking. There's babies in that room. There's grandmas in that room. There's grandpas. There's little kids running around, and the feeling is freaking amazing. And those Ram Awards are fostering that, right? Like Jack Cale is like the young Dirksen. Those kids are gonna they're locked for life.
Yes.
Like they're not walking away from this.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely. And
awesome.
When you look at it, like, not to go back to old issues that we've kicked the dead horse and everything else on, but it was actually the one thing that popped in my head Saturday when I looked around, and exactly like you said, I saw people there that I know have never seen a sheep mount in their life.
Right.
I saw women and kids, and like my wife ran in the booth helping, and she wants to be there and be involved, and she doesn't care about ever seeing a stone sheep in her life.
Yeah.
And what I thought about when I was sitting there looking at it, I said, when we lost grizzly bear hunting in this province, there was no connected group, there was no unified body to it, and there was no sense of ownership to a lot of it. And then you look in that room now, and it goes, well, these are all people that understand conservation now, whether they're life members or even members of Wild Sheep or not. Like, you're building that community and all coming together on it, and it's those preventative actions to make sure that this stays how it is and have a future for wild sheep hunting, and to really look at the big picture of it. When I was in that room being like, even if all they did someone off the street came in and saw the Wild Sheep Society BC logo. Well, maybe in 5 years when they try and, maybe they petition to bring the grizzly bear hunting back and Wild Sheep puts out a post about it. Well, I remember going there and, those are really good people. And I had awesome conversations with those guys. And they're not just bloodthirsty killers. They're, really good people that care about conservation efforts. And maybe that's that little action for them to sign that petition or go down to, their local meeting or whatever it is. And when you look at the big picture like that, I was stunned looking at Penticton when you see the crowd there. And you're just like, this is community.
Yes.
This is everything.
Yeah.
So, it was awesome to see.
Yeah. We talk about our Wild Sheep family a lot, and like it felt like a family. Like it truly did. It is community, it's conservation. It's like, it was a great vibe. So, yeah. Well, I appreciate all you've done for that. So, Ram Awards back for 27?
Absolutely. You can lock us in for the next decade, man. It's absolutely. Ram Awards will be back. We'll figure out how to do it bigger and better and offer more for it. That's our biggest thing. And I'd even like to look at maybe expanding the awards a little bit more, bringing some other stuff into there, maybe like an outstanding animal award, whether it's elk, moose, anything else. I'd love to see some big moose racks coming through those doors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me, where it's just the only choice for me will be how much more can we take on and how much more can we do. It will never be about what fat can we trim.
Right.
So we're locked in, and
it's awesome.
And the other thing I also hope that it turns into a lot of people that are just coming to enjoy the social night and the social aspect of it. That was honestly one of my favorite parts of that night, was being able to not have the room we had the room and the space and the time to be able to have really good conversations with people and not be in a room of 700 people. Nothing against it, it's great, but like the Friday, Saturday are a lot more formal and a lot more going on that side. So to be able to just have a good session with a lot of people was honestly my highlight to it.
Yeah.
So it was really fun on that side.
100%. It was an awesome evening. Yeah. Well, thank you to you and your team. And you touched on it before, and I think it's worth mentioning is that we're so tapped capacity wise that weekend. We've got all hands on deck, and we sort of just said, we love the concept, but you're gonna have to do some of the heavy lifting because we just don't have capacity. And you're like, hey man, and you did. People say that all the time to us. They're like, oh yeah, we got it covered. And they don't always have it covered. You guys had it covered. It was just great communication, back and forth from our team and your team. And it felt like a collaborative effort. And honestly, I don't know if you felt the same on our side. On my side, it felt easy. And,
yes.
And it's so comfortable. And you mentioned thanks for trusting us. And I'm like, well, you earned that trust years ago, man. So it's hard earned, and it's awesome, and it's just phenomenal to be part of it. So.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
love it. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk a little bit about this weekend. So Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta, they got another great event. And things are just kicking off here, but I think they have 1,200 people at the banquet, so it's going to be a little unhinged, I would imagine.
Yeah, so. I've heard there's a lot. So Bighorn Banquet, that's tomorrow. Today's social night, kind of same thing. We're doing the vendor event right now. Obviously, it's a little more chill, which is very nice in here.
The calm before the storm.
Yes, tomorrow is going to be flat out. So really excited for that side. These guys do so much also.
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
It's so cool to see these guys because there's such a want for these guys to come over to BC.
Yes.
Where they see BC as this golden bubble and they just want to go touch it, right? So it's it's hard not to brag to every single person you see about getting to hunt stone sheep, but it's an awesome time. And a lot of these faces we saw last weekend.
That's what I love.
The same people.
Yeah, I love coming over here, and I especially the vendors. I walk in, and that talks to our community, right? Again, it's a community. We are a Wild Sheep family, and it's there's the broader Wild Sheep Foundation. Our parent organization, if you will, the society is an affiliate. Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta is a chapter. But I'm a Skyline member here. Most of their directors are life members or Monarch members with us, and there's just so much mutual support and respect, and it's just great to be here representing the foundation, in my case, in Wild Sheep Society BC. And it was awesome. We had Jordan and Mike over at our show last week, and it's awesome, man. It's so awesome. Yeah.
Well, and then also for me is you get back to it and go back to the full circle, go back to the family side of it. Well, I know people that lived in BC, were part of WSS BC, moved to Alberta, and we're almost worried that they were going to lose that.
Right.
And it's like, no, this is part of the family.
Yeah.
This is a lot of the same people and same vibe and same everything. So it's even for us, we weren't here last year. It was very tough for us, but we had to make the decision. We didn't come last year. Rolled in this year, smiling faces everywhere. So good to see you, right? Like, I mean, it's like going back to a family reunion.
Yeah.
So it's the Wild Sheep community is so special. I wish I could get everybody involved with it.
Right.
Not for the funding side, not for this, not for that, but just to feel like you have a place that you are a part of.
Right.
So special.
Yeah.
So cool. Whether in Alberta, Wild Sheep, Wyoming, Idaho, like everywhere.
Yeah.
You know that those are going to be people that you can sit down with, that are going to welcome you down there. You can have a drink with, talk about hunting or talk about life or whatever, and it's just one of your people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and to our point about people being at our shows, Wyoming was at our show last weekend. Utah was at our show. Alberta, as we discussed. Washington was there.
Yeah.
Like on Force Day, they're present there in 5 directors, right? And and that's the thing is, like, we talk about this a lot, like, and especially with Alberta and BC and Washington and BC, like, Wild Sheep don't know borders. They don't sit there and go, oh, there's the 49th. We're not going across there. Oh, that's Alberta's. Like, no, like, we have a lot of shared initiative, and the support we get from, like, these other chapters and that we give as well. But Washington, they were a huge supporter of our work. They're going to support again.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be down at their banquet next weekend. I'm their keynote speaker. Poor bastards. have you heard me speak? Actually, they did because I spoke last year. But yeah, it's so much fun and so much energy and so much synergy. And it was funny, Tanner. Like, when, like, it was different. Like, the society's amazing, and like our diehard core. But 10 years ago, I came on the board, and Wild Sheep Foundation was looking for sponsorship. They had 4 bronzes out front, right? And sponsorship was like, it wasn't nothing, but it wasn't going to break the bank either, right? It was like kind of, I think it was $2,500 or something to sponsor these four sheep, right? And so, like, somebody sponsored the bighorn, and somebody sponsored the doll sheep, and somebody sponsored, and I'm like, guys, we got to do, like, the stone sheep. And they're like, and the board was like, fuck, I don't know, Kyle. Like, I was brand new to the board. They were like, I don't know if our membership's going to like that. And I'm like, well, do you want someone else to put, like, their name on a stone sheep bronze? Like, that's who we are. And I'm like, I've heard you guys talk, and I was new, but I heard people talk about one tent, one campfire, talk about Wild Sheep family. I'm like, let's like, I really advocated hard for it. We did. And sure enough, there was, like, whispers of, like, so the board approved $2,500 towards some artwork in the U.S. That was no, it's not fucking artwork. It's a stone sheep bronze.
Stone sheep.
I'm like, it's pretty, like, people were like, but we educate them, right? We work together with these people. And now, when we look, in Wild Sheep Foundation 4 years ago cut us a check for $250,000 US. Nobody's bitching about that $2,500 sponsorship.
Good investment,
bronze, right? Like, and that's not why we did it. Like, I was never like, oh, we'll give them $2,500 because they're going to give us $250,000 one day. That was never even like, that blew my mind when we got that grant. But what it is about is, it's like, when we start supporting each other, and I'll say in BC, like, we are the biggest benefactor of almost anyone. Like, there's so much support, so much generosity. With our Adopt a Sheep program, Idaho was on board, Texas was on board, Washington is a major sponsor. They've given us $50,000 US towards that program. Alberta was on board. The support is, like, far-reaching, right? So, it is a family, and it's not just a family, like, conceptually, like, oh yeah, we're all family, we all get along here. No, people pony up. Yeah. So when we support a guzzler project in Nevada, people shouldn't bitch. And if they do your homework first, because look at what Nevada did for us in BC.
Yes.
And look at what we do for other people. And there's going to be times of need that we need to, and there might be times where, like, we need to stroke check for $50,000 to wherever, and it's like, it might be outside our borders and we might not be too keen on it, but we need to stand together as a community. And
that's the core of why we're successful. Like as a family, I don't mean the society. I mean as a family. Like I think that's our biggest strength, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. That's kind of the same whole idea, right? And it's, they're there for you at some point, and you're there for them. And when you look at the amount that BC receives from everybody else, we would have to raise and give a hell of a lot of money to ever make that back and be equal about it.
Yeah. No. Well said. Okay. So, what's next on the radar for Frontiersmen Gear? So, you've world domination on knives, world domination on leatherwork, world domination on textiles. And I'm not looking for trade secrets at all, or your sort of strategic plan for moving forward. But where do you see? Are you shoring up like your core businesses? Are you looking at further growth? I just like with this textile stuff, I just see like in my brain, I'm like, holy fuck, like the sky's the limit on that shit, right? Like
absolutely, and that's where you're going to see the biggest growth. Okay. There's little projects here and tweaking that we want to do there. One of the big things that go into the core of it is we're increasing knife production to a scale that's pretty special on it right now. We're working to actively hire more people again as it is. We have apprentices now in the shop, and you're going to see a larger scale push on the knife side so that we can have our basic offerings always in stock is the biggest thing on that side. But that's not growth. That's just producing more inventory. As for growth, it will be essentially all on the textile side. Right. So there's a few little leather products, cowboy or roper wallets, a few little things like that. We're not changing the world on that. But Canadian-made textiles, you start looking at that branch of it, and you're like, okay, you're talking sleep mix, you're talking, tents, tarps, shelters. As far as you want to take it, you can go. So we're trying more than anything. It's not putting too much gas on the fire too fast, right. Trying to make sure that we do this properly and we do get enough product testing and field testing and on everything. But, I'd love it in 5 years if, the standard to buy a tarp shelter was coming to Frontiersmen or, a down bag. So much down's produced right in Canada. Why are we buying down bags from outside of Canada? Right. Makes zero sense. Right. We have, I can't remember what the number is. It's like 65% or something. Don't hold me to that. Someone's going to find that and be like, you're wrong. But it's like a huge amount of the down comes straight here out of Canada.
Is that right?
Perfect. Let's put it in our own bags.
Awesome.
So that's what it is. It's supplying all of that. It's also supplying a lot more of the hiking, recreational, outdoor industry as well, which is a beautiful side. And that's with the leather side as well. We can service the whole Western industry. We can service the whole cowboy industry, where you're going to see FG going to rodeos. You're going to see FG on billboards for CFR and stuff like that. That is, it's we started as a hunting brand. Hunting's our home. Hunting's our core. But it's time to get our product into everybody's hands here in Canada and be Canada's gear company, which is really the whole idea of it.
Love it, man. Love it. So if somebody's interested in, like, obviously you like your online presence is amazing, and I know you've worked hard on building that shop out. Is that a go-to place for people if they're transiting, going north or south through
Absolutely.
PG?
Absolutely. And we've been, to be completely honest, since we opened the storefront just about 2 years ago, we've been playing keep up, trying to get stock built up for that. You will have stock when you come through. If you're coming on a stone sheep hunt, whether you're looking for a knife or game bags, they're going to be there for you. So that's our biggest push also, is making sure that there's accessibility to our products, whether it's online. Like if you went to our online store right now, half the products are sold out. Right. And that's just us not being able to keep up. So that's the biggest push, again, going back to that, to where we get a lot of people heading their way north. Frick, I thought I had game bags. I can't find them. Right. Perfect. We're going to have it for you. So, awesome. And that's all just serving the customer on that end. Awesome. So, and that's the other thing. We're out of Salmon Valley, just north of Prince George. We got a storefront out there. It's not the biggest storefront. It's a nice storefront. Our operating shop is out there. We're going to be doing a lot more events out there as well, which is a big thing. We want campfires. We want people on sheep season. If we're here, I try and hunt as much as I can as well. But if we're there, I want you stopping in, have a fire, have a beer. If you're on your way north, if you got to park a truck there or something, we want that to be the place. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. So do you have any, I know you planned something last summer. Do you have anything planned this summer? I'm not looking for dates or anything, but you planned some stuff?
We will do another rendezvous.
Awesome.
So every year, it's our annual big event that we have, big pig roast and everything else. This year, bring in live music. we'd love to actually bring in a few smaller vendors, not to do like a big vendor space, to have a table there and, say hi to people, and then have people out. We've got lots of camping space there that we open up to first come first serve, and then we've got a campground just down the road that they open themselves up to us as well. So that's our biggest event. We'd like to also push some belt making classes. We want to start doing more classes and bringing value to our community that way, where you can come in, do a belt and bourbon night, have a good drink, make yourself a custom belt, by hand yourself, and you walk out of there 5 hours later having a great time, meeting good people with product in hand. So that's a big side that we're going to be pushing as well. So courses, classes, and then just some more events like our rendezvous. So our rendezvous always happens right in that June time,
right.
So people can, it'll come out then, and then you guys will know.
I gotta try, and I know last year I got the invite, and I just had a hell of a year in terms of scheduling, and I ended up having to cancel. It was horrible, but I'm definitely, like, unless my kid is getting married or whatever, I'm going to be there. So
perfect.
Yeah, no, I really want to get up there and check it out, and I haven't gone north the last 2 years for hunts either, so I haven't even been in the new shop, so I can't wait to check it out. So,
awesome. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to seeing all the old faces, new faces, everyone.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to shut it down. You're packed now. It's like, it's kicking off. So appreciate you, brother. Thanks for all you do.
Thanks for having me.
Anything else for our guests that you want to share with before we
No,
close up?
just can't thank them all enough. Like,
awesome.
Some people say that a lot, but they don't. People need to understand that it's from them purchasing product or supporting us that we get to do any of this.
Awesome.
So we act as a facilitator for people at the end of the day. We get to
Nice.
facilitate wild sheep conservation through our customers.
Wow.
So it's really fun.
Dude, we can't thank you enough. So appreciate it, brother. Thank
Sweet.
you. All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.